All right, where were we? Oh, yes. The pit of despair. Happy Monday. Love Princess Bride. So, I got quite a few talking points. Happy. I know you didn't get an update over the weekend. I took that time to recharge, hang out with the family, watch some football. Big Eagles fan, big Bama fan. One of those games went really well. One of them did not. If you like the sports balls, you can always comment in the comments. I'm happy to talk foosball. But let's get into the meat of our update for today because there's quite a few items I want to discuss. So obviously, first things first, congratulations, Shards unlocked. This was not a given. I've seen several comments that people are like, oh, well, for the price, this should be. It's not a given. It's not a given, right? And the reason that we planned for cardboard components when the rest were physical components in the base game is because, again, we were trying to keep the price of the expansion as low as possible. And shipping-wise, the shards do create a bit more of a situation with shipping. We have to do a little bit more packing into the shrink wrap of the mini expansion as well, because we're not doing a tuck box. We're not doing any sort of we don't have any plans for that right now. I wasn't planning on taking it to retail, right? So it didn't need a box. You're just going to break it down and put it inside of your main game box. So shipping it and designing a box and paying for a box and bringing the price up of the expansion didn't seem like a good investment of your money or my resources. So why, that wasn't part of the plan. Whereas now we're going to have to put like an extra piece of cardboard and some more protection there because those pieces are jagged. And if they stab into your cards, you're going to be upset. Oh, my card has a dent in it. Now I can identify it. This is no good. Right? So now we have, and it's going to take up more space. So that means shipping the ocean freight, we can get less into a container. So it's a domino effect. It does affect a lot of different things. That's why it's a stretch goal, right? That's why we hit certain volumes and we're able to go, it makes sense to spend more money on the game and cut into our margin because our volumes are getting better. So anyway, it's not just, I don't know, some of these comments are so frustrating with the whole, this is a given, this was, it's not. And if you have a question about that, if you don't believe me, whatever, you can go over, just pull up the videos on my YouTube page. I do a profit and loss video, P&L, spreadsheet breakdown based on crowdfunding campaign. At least the way that I do them. Every company's different. But you'll probably get some insight to what our goals are when we're trying to lay out what things cost, what we have to charge, that sort of thing. All right. There was a great question. I've seen it a couple times, but pledging in campaign versus pledging in the Pledge Manager. Now, there's a couple of different, the question was, is this better for creators? Which one's better? I think you're going to get a different answer from every creator that you ask. But for me, I prefer the campaign to get the pledge because that number is viewable. And as I go out and I try to shop different partnerships for the games that I make, whether that be Tidal Blades, Bloodstone, Wonderland's War, that number is visible. The Pledge Manager number is not visible to the public. So the bigger the Kickstarter, right, it comes with a bit of, hey, this was $1 million Kickstarter, or we had 20,000 backers, or things like that, right? Like that makes a difference when I'm talking to potential partners about, do you want to sign this game for a localization? Do you want to make a podcast? Do you want to make a TV show? Like all of those things factor, and the campaign is more visible. Now, if you don't want to support Kickstarter anymore for whatever your reason, going through the Pledge Manager cuts them out, right? The fees are the same, right? So what Kickstarter charges percentage-wise and what our Pledge Manager that we get on the back end, they charge the same amount. So there's no money savings for the creator or anybody else. It's just who gets paid, right? But yeah, I prefer it coming to the campaign. But if your budget doesn't allow you, you need some extra time to pay or add other things on, you can back some things in the campaign and then add on other things in the Pledge Manager if you want, right? Split it up, totally fine. So that's that's generally my thoughts on campaign versus PM, but the percentages are the same, and I personally prefer in the campaign so it's more visible. All right, localizations for retail and English and all of the above. So I'm still working on all of those things. Localizations, we're in talks with some folks, and when those get locked, when they're signed, and it's not a rumor anymore, we'll be able to announce those. Even if that happens post-campaign, we will have that available through the Pledge Manager. So if you are looking for a French version and we sign that, then that'll be available in the Pledge Manager to swap over. You'll choose, do I want an English version of this or do I want a French version? And we are talking to people, and we are offering this out to partners for the deluxe edition. Okay, so whatever you're getting through the campaign, you could get it in that language if they sign up. And again, pretty much every language that makes board games, the team at Lucky Duck is who I do my localizations with. They met with everybody at Essen, right? So they had lots of meetings, but everybody's got to get home, they got to recover from it, they got to get caught up on email. So there's some of that happening, but it is in the works, and we will have time to get that. Just know the only caveat to that is the localization copies will have a 6 to 8 month delay before English. Just because it takes more time to get everything. It's a heavy translation project. If we can get it done faster than that, we'll get it done. But they want to be conservative, and it's probably at least 6 months of a delay. So if you want the game faster, you can just stay with English if your group can play English games. But if you really prefer that, there is going to be some delay in the shipping of the Kickstarter. With all that said, I know from the beginning I have said no English retail of Wonderland's War because that wasn't planned. But I am in serious talks with a partner, and if that goes through, if everything works out, we will at some point have a English retail version back out again. I don't have any real strong particulars other than the partner is serious, and if we can make it work, I want those to be available to everybody. I want the game to be out more widely available, or if you're budget conscious and you just don't prefer deluxe games, that gives you another option to be able to get the game there. So again, lots to work out, but talks are moving along quite nicely. So I feel good about that happening. So as soon, again, me just trying to be transparent, as soon as I have that information, as soon as deals are inked, because I've had serious talks happen, you get down to the contract stuff, and it goes away, right? So nothing is done until everybody shakes hands, signs contracts, and that's when we'll lock it in. I just want you to know that I am working on it. A couple people have asked about base rings. I plan on moving forward with the base rings. I'm just trying to lock in the pricing particulars so that I can know exactly what the offer is for you guys and how much that's gonna affect the shipping. There's a lot of things that I got to figure out, and typically they're not easy to do on the fly, especially if you don't have files done and already prepped. So I'm just trying to do my due diligence here. Whether I can get it offered in the campaign or in the Pledge Manager, either way, I plan on offering those base strings. You guys have asked for them, and I just need to lock in the details, and I'm just waiting on partners. So, I did want to just mention again when it comes down to the costs of things, and I've seen several people complain about, this game went up $65 for all in, or whatever that amount is, whatever argument they want to make. And at the end of the day, right, if you go look at that profit and loss video that I make, that's it, right? We are trying to hit a 30 to 40% profit margin, because if we don't make a profit and something goes wrong, we don't have any resources to finish the project. We don't have any money to pay, for me to keep doing this. We don't have any money left to invest in future projects. So and again, 30 to 40% profit margin is not, in my eyes, again, this is subjective, it's not an unethical profit margin. I think it's a very normal, it's a healthy business profit margin. And so the reason that the prices went up, right, is that the cost to make that went up. It wasn't, we said, ooh, let's try to make 80% profit on this. Let's make 100% profit margin. That's just not true. Like, this is not true. It's not true. And it is true that in the first campaign, when we were doing this, I worked at a different company who had their influence, their input. And one of the people there wanted to lower the price to try to what they called a volume play. And there's nothing, like, I worked for them. There's nothing I could do about that. That the first edition of the game was priced lower than it should have been, based off the math that I'm showing you and that P&L. It should have been higher. So that would have leveled out the difference somewhat. That's part. So I'm just giving you the details of what's made up this gap, why it is what it is. People are still going to do what they want with that information. They're either going to call me a liar, or they're going to say that that's not true, or they're going to say, oh, he's fudging number, whatever. They're going to, if they want to be that way, they're going to do that. All I can do is tell you, I lived it. That's what happened. That's not an unheard of move, right? It's to say, hey, we're going to take less profit per unit, make the deal look sweeter so that we get better volume. People approach business 1,000 different ways. So I'm not even saying I'm mad or they're wrong. I'm just saying that's what happened, and that's why the gap is bigger than, I think any of us would like. But like I said, I thought I was going to have to price the game even higher. I thought it was going to have to be like 130 for the deluxe. And I was pretty excited when I thought 115 through all the stuff that's happened for there only be a $35 difference. I thought we did pretty well. But, as I've said before, no matter what I do, I'm going to make somebody mad. Somebody's going to call me a liar, and some people are going to be excited. And that's just apparently the way it is to be in business. Last point, shipping quotes. What did I write here? Oh, so I've seen some comments where people are like trying to do math on multiple items in the comments, and I think there's a bit of confusion. So here's the deal. And this isn't across the board, but this should apply in most areas. Your base pledge, the number that you see based on your region in the shipping chart, is what I've been quoted to after I've subsidized it, your base amount, right? So then if you have add-ons, the idea is that those will be what we call pick and pack. So let's say you get a deluxe edition and you want the playing cards and you want the art prints and whatever, right? And the replacement board, whatever, right? You get whatever you want. So the base cost is that deluxe pledge, right? From there, the add-ons are just going to make the box heavier. We will have what we call a weight table that will then say, cool, this went up, 2 pounds. Those things will still fit in the box that we had planned on sending this in, right? So it just goes up the amount of weight that is appropriate. So if the things are small and it doesn't make the box size change, then your cost isn't going to go up very much. Now, if you order, 2 sets of premium chips, this is one of those weird ones where dimensional weight kicks in because it's an odd-shaped box and it's heavy. So, but the size, the way that the size is, it actually ships at a higher weight cost because these companies, FedEx, UPS, USPS, they can do this to us. And this is, I've explained this before, but that's why shipping playmats cost so much. They're not that heavy, but the box, because everybody wants them rolled up, they make an odd shape in their trucks, and it's hard. They can't get as much stuff in there, so they don't make as much money, so they charge you more. That's essentially what it comes down to, right? Like, they don't make as much money shipping those weird shaped boxes because they take up more room in their trucks and their planes and all that kind of stuff. And so they charge what it would have been had they been able to get a heavier thing into that spot more efficiently. We didn't make the rules, y'all. We're subjected to them. That's how it is. So that's how the shipping quotes work, right? Now, if you've got something weird going on where you're ordering 3 different base pledges of different things, it'll be based off the weight and however much stuff we can get into a box. And if we need multiple boxes, then you don't get any. That's why people are asking about group pledges. Well, when a game's big and heavy like this, there are no group discounts because we can't get a bunch of stuff into a box. See, the group discount kind of happens when you think about kind of what I was just explaining. Oh, you got a deluxe box or a deluxe pledge, and then we're going to add 2 or 3 add-ons that fit into the same size box. Well, you're just getting a very incremental adjustment in the price because the weight didn't go up that much and we didn't have to go to a bigger box. But when you say like, I want to order 4 deluxe edition all-ins, like none of those can go in the box together. They all still have to be shipped individually. So there is no discount. Like FedEx doesn't give us that discount. Now, if we could have gotten 3 of those in a, like if the game was Lost Cities Rolling Right, this the size and weighs this, sure, you can get 6 of these into a box and the shipping is cheaper. That's where a group pledge has merit. It doesn't have merit in this case because the games are just too big. We don't get those efficiencies, so they don't exist. I feel like I get, and then I'll say these things because this is just reality, and then people will yell at you and say that you're not trying or you're lying, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, trust me, if I could get you games cheaper through shipping, if I could do it for free, I would sell more games, and that's where I make money. That's what I would do, but I have to work within the things that, I mean, I have it in the past. I have tried to skirt those rules. I've tried to say, you know what, I'll just figure it out later. And it's always cost me money, like substantial amounts of money, right? So it is what it is. We have to play by the rules that we're given. I am still working on trying to reduce the shipping quotes. I'm in talks with lots of different people in lots of different areas, different partners. The same partner that I've got, trying to push them to find new solutions. Like I'm going down every route because, I mean, I'm incentivized to, right? Like if I can get you cheaper shipping, I stand to sell more games. So it's not that I don't want to. It's just, as I explained in another video, I have to also know and trust any partner I go into this with. If I don't know and trust them in what they're telling me it's going to cost, and it ends up costing more, or there's hidden fees or things that I didn't allocate for, it's on me, right? And then that 30% profit margin can just get eat up and gone. So I'm doing my best. It's not easy, and I've got people in the comments like, when's Bloodstone coming? We want Bloodstone. You're like, listen, guys, for a single person, there are hundreds of spinning plates on each project. So I don't want to because if I overdo it, then that's when delays happen. That's when you get overwhelmed, you get behind on things, you're not able to keep handling everything. So I really, really, really want to take care of Tidal Blades 2 and Wonderland's War. Like, I want to take care of these 2 things. I've got Banner Festival that, I signed that with a partner with Lucky Duck because of this reason. I needed somebody else to come in and do the heavy lifting for that retail release, which is releasing right now. I would love for you guys to go out and grab that game. I think you're gonna really like it. In fact, I may do like a TTS walkthrough pretty soon on the channel. So be on the lookout for that. But $40, it's got that deluxe feel of a Kickstarter, really, right? Wooden components, squishy fruit. Made this with Panda Manufacturing, so it's it's top tier quality. The cards have the cards are awesome quality with linen finish. So I made it, even though it's a retail game, like it was a Kickstarter game for me. I'd love for you guys to check that out. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. If you like trick taking, area controlling type of thing, it's a 30-minute game. You're gonna be able to get it to the table really easily, and it's clever. It's just really clever. So. All right, that's it for today. That was the updates. I'm still working on a bunch of stuff, and I'm excited. The pace of the campaign's great. So, more stuff to come. Talk to you soon.